So now that you know that secret, let's move to cyberspacewar.com for all the latest updates going on in the war against inner space and outer space. The October 14th DEF CON settlements, citizenship, and commercial gain. A little update on the webcam Spygate story out of Pennsylvania. Threat level, of course, following it from the beginning. School district pays $610,000 to settle webcam spying lawsuits. I believe that was 2 cases. And from Computer World, we've discovered that the Department of Homeland Stupidity scoured social media sites during Obama's inauguration for items of interest. EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF.org, released documents that reveal a broad range of targets, including Facebook and Twitter, as well as NPR and Daily Kos. Those left gatekeeper, no discussion of 9/11 questions allowed fake left. Because they got to make sure they've got the fake left in their pocket. Because, of course, that's the most effective way to attack a fake left puppet like the Obama-Messiah, is from the left, is from his supposed support, just as the best way to attack the previous puppet, Bush Jr., was from a conservative standpoint. Play the game against itself, and hopefully we can make some real change rise out of that. We'll see. Watch me hold my breath. Applying for citizenship, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration wants to be your friend. That's as well from EFF.org. Iranian and Chinese computers also hacked into the D.C. Internet voting system test. If you'll recall, we covered that last week. This update comes from bradblog.com. Comcast pushes a bot alert program nationwide. This ties in with, of course, Microsoft talking about licensing and talking about shielding other computers. When you get infected, we're going to say that means you don't get online. TheRegister.co.uk getting into Facebook, of course, killing privacy for commercial gain. And our last note on this DEF CON is a little bit of an update added after the fact from Danger Room. Super bombs and secret jails, what to look for in the upcoming WikiLeaks Iraq docs. The Afghanistan war logs were just the beginning. Coming as early as next week, WikiLeaks plans to disclose a new trove of military documents, this time covering some of the toughest years of the Iraq War. Up to 400,000 reports from 2004 to 9 could be revealed this time, 5 times the size of the Afghan document dump. And we'll see what kind of fingers this points at what kind of bad actors in the geopolitical grand chessboard. Furthermore, on cyberspacewar.com, Google developing fleet of autonomous vehicles. Google cars drive themselves in traffic. Great report that puts it into perspective from Cryptagon.com, but it all sources back to a multi-part piece on the New York Times. Anyone driving the twists of Highway 1 between San Fran and LA recently may have glimpsed a Toyota Prius with a curious funnel-like cylinder on the roof. Harder to notice was that the person at the wheel was not actually driving. The car is a project of Google, which has been working on, in secret, but of course in plain view, on vehicles that can drive themselves using AI software that can sense anything near the car and mimic decisions made by a human driver. In secret, right in front of your face, as so many things really are. So, the way we like to do this, and the way I feel things fit together, is to look at the language, and we track the memes. And again, if I've slowly begun to sort of find a niche or fill a niche with Media Monarchy, it's that the massive data dump and data mining open source grab, recontextualize, and to give you the research links for you to do more research for yourself. That's the thing. To see the signs. And oh my, have there been many, many signs related to the skies, my friends. So I posted this Tuesday, October 12th, and this comes from DatelineZero.com. UK schools running UFO crash drills. There seems to be a growing trend among schools to stage a UFO crash and then teach students how to react, as well as to properly investigate and report on the incident. The latest UFO drill took place Wednesday, September 29th at the Sanford Primary School in the UK. The kids were treated to a full UFO crash scenario that included wreckage, police tape, and real police officers. Perhaps it was only lacking men from the government telling children not to talk about what they saw. What's interesting is that the police were on hand to show the children how to properly investigate the UFO crash site, as if they have experience. There are sources to other similar events in the UK. This one, the westonmercury.co.uk. There's more from Journal Live, Harrow Observer, both with .co.uk. And you can see the training. You can see what we've been discussing. And, of course, groundzeromedia.org getting into, fantastically, this alien agenda, as Jim Mars calls it. Between the predictive programming and the shows and V and Skyline and the event and Flash Forward to the Vatican, to their telescope called Lucifer, to their admissions that it's okay to believe in aliens, we would baptize aliens. What do you hear? What's coming up in our Holy Hexes updates? This PSYOP is massive and growing. We do have a related story from the bottom of this post on UK schools running UFO crash drills. Strange signal comes from alien planet, scientist says. That planet would be the Goldilocks planet. I forget its precise technical name. But does this all tie in with what Nazi Werner von Braun brought over, of course, as part of Project Paperclip, so we could help, or rather, they could help us get our rockets off the ground? The slow disclosure. It's not going to be ships hovering over the city, is it? It's going to be, well, here's some dead aliens. Well, here's some things made on a moon that isn't man-made, and we don't know where it came from. Who is it? One of the astronauts always talking about a monolith on the moon, straight out of 2001. And again, this is 2010, the year we make contact. So there's so much PSYOP going on. Now, we want to remind you that back in September, we noted that ex-NORAD officer predicted a tentative worldwide UFO display on October 13th. That was Wednesday. Freeman was another one talking about something happening on October 13th. And all the signs and symbols that tie into it. Chris Carter, X-Files, his production company, 1013. I made this. So we were watching the skies, and then, just as predicted, another PSYOP unfolds. Mystery shiny objects floating over Manhattan spark UFO frenzy. We'll take it from New York Daily News. A mysterious shiny object floating high over Manhattan's west side set off a flurry of reports and wild speculation Wednesday that a UFO was flying over the city. Police and the FAA said they'd been getting flooded with calls starting at about 1:30 p.m. East Time from people reporting a silvery object hovering high over Chelsea. Law enforcement sources said they believed the object was likely some sort of balloon, but as of late Wednesday, they had not confirmed exactly what it was. And we do have this quick audio clip from ABC News.
Oh, snap. Yeah, you got it?
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's
maybe Superman, maybe Wonder Woman.
You'd rather it be Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There is something up there, and there's been a crowd of people at the corner of 8th and 23rd Street trying to figure out exactly what it is.
I think I see it now. Right over there.
Right there.
Wait, there's another one over here?
I just see.
I see those two over there.
Earlier today, it was over here.
I think it's a balloon. I don't know.
You think it's a balloon?
Yeah.
All right.
But then again, balloons don't stand still.
Maybe we're not all just seeing things. The city is reporting that they've been getting calls about this mystery in the sky to their 311 line. So far, they don't have an answer.
What is that?
To that question either.
Well, what do you think it is?
I don't know.
You don't want to say
I'm
it.
looking for the mothership.
Ha ha ha. She is looking for the mothership, and maybe that's where this hype comes from, is that we're all looking for something else to save us. But of course, The PSYOP has been deflated. The Chelsea UFO theories have been deflated. The mysterious objects that hovered over West 23rd Street on Wednesday were almost certainly errant party balloons, and they came not from Mars, but Mount Vernon. It was just a freak thing. Frankly, I'm shocked by it, said Angela Freeman, head of the Milestone School in the Westchester suburb, where the cluster of balloons was inadvertently launched. Kids behind UFO sightings over Manhattan. There you go, my friends. We'll quickly now move to all the latest from foodworldorder.com. And again, I'll remind you about our interview with Barbara Peterson of farmwars.info, posted at the top of foodworldorder.com right now. But the October 14th binge and purge can't feel the beating, which is, of course, a play on the old Coca-Cola slogan, can't beat the feeling. I think I saw an old Soul Asylum shirt where they had a parody of the Coke logo that said, can't feel the beating. I always loved that and wanted to put it back out there for you. What this gets into is this warning that was put out to Glenn Beck on not drinking Diet Coke. He basically announced he's sick, his voice is messed up, he's a Mormon, so he doesn't drink coffee, but he drinks a shit ton of Diet Coke, which is laden with Rumsfeld's aspartame. So, of course, it was the InfoWars gang leading the charge on this, and then turned back around, and Beck's little sidekicks who were covering his show for him, attempting to debunk the aspartame controversy, but of course they can't. Sweet misery, aspartame is. GMWatch.org has a great breakdown on Roger Beachy, who you might recall we mentioned last week. He's now under the new USDA appointee from the Obama-Messiah, Catherine Wotecki. Of course, she's from Mars Incorporated. And Roger Beachy is, of course, a GMO eugenicist. Roger Beachy's evangelical push for GM foods. Again, that's from GMWatch.org. You must check that out. They also get into building the pressure on the Gates Foundation and all their connections to Monsanto. However, furthermore, Grist.org asks, what's driving Monsanto's fall from grace? Like Max Kaiser talked about, targeted boycotts, that we can look at these companies and see when they're starting to shake and really hit them where they hurt. And again, that could be the positive outcome of this new financial world order. If we can somehow escape the crush of all of it, we might be able to get rid of mall culture and Coca-Cola and some of the garbage. But not when there's garbage like this. Family Farm ordered to destroy 50,000 pounds of cheese. Of course, this ties in, not directly, but of course, overarching, to the Rawsome raids, and again, the war on food, the war on what you're allowed to eat. But again, of course, New York will say what you can and can't do with your food stamps, because they've got you by the dole. More on that in this episode 190. The last note on this binge and purge: new FDA regulations to destroy small organic farms. That, of course, ties directly into what we just said. Last report from foodworldorder.com, again, comes from naturalnews.com. 3/4 of U.S. to be obese or overweight by 2020. America's already on the verge of drowning in sick care bankruptcy, but the situation is about to get even worse. According to a new study released by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, 3/4 of Americans will be obese or overweight by 2020. That puts U.S. in first place for the world competition to see which nation can create the most obese population. We're number one. But seriously, according to the research, America is number one on the world obesity rankings, meaning a higher percentage of the U.S. population is obese or overweight than any other country in the world. The main three reasons that explain all this: we don't get much exercise, we eat too much food, and that food that we eat is mostly processed, dead garbage of marginal nutritional value. And that, my friends, is a food world order.